Hi, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I'm glad you're back with me, and we've got another Bible story today. This is the book I've been reading out of. Now, if you remember, on the last day, we read about the heavens floodgates opening, and everybody and every animal that was not in the ark, they were drowned because they had chosen not to go. They had just laughed at Noah. They didn't believe his message was from God. And if they did, they weren't even sure there was a God. So today, I'm going to read about the strangest journey in history. Now the ark was carried by the water and swept by the fierce tides and howling gales, that's wind, as the strangest voyage on earth began. Only a vessel like that ark that was built so strongly and well constructed could have withstood all the beating of those waves as it was beat one way and then another, and would go up and down and crashing through all of that water. But it did not break. There was nowhere for the ark to go. There wasn't a harbor any place. All the high hills had been covered with water. So it just drifted this way and that, rolling and tossing this way and that as the terrible storm currents were going and returning. It must have been terrible inside of the ark. Although they were safe, there was not light, at least not very much, and there definitely wasn't fresh air because everything had to be closed so the water wouldn't come in. And the very worst part would be wondering, were we really going to be safe? Are we? Do you think God's forgotten us? As big as that ark was, Noah and his family were the only people on it, even though it had been made to hold hundreds more people. Nobody else had chosen to. They had all drowned. Men and women, boys and girls. In the whole wide world, there was no trace of life left behind. The old world had completely disappeared beneath billions of tons of water. And everything that moved upon the earth had died. Both man and cattle, and creeping things, and the birds of the air, they were all destroyed. And Noah and his family were all that remained. God must have watched very carefully over that ark through this whole fearsome experience. It must have meant so much to him. All of his hopes and plans for the world depended on this one little handful of people inside. Only through them could his promises be fulfilled. Only through someone in that storm-tossed ship could the seed of the woman ever bruise the serpent's head. Remember, the serpent was Satan. How Satan must have tried to sink that ship in the biggest part of the storms. If he had been able to do that, he would have won. But the ark did not sink. Miraculously, it rode out the storm. There it is. And then God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And the rain from heaven stopped. And the ark rested. upon the mountain of Ariak. Even after the ark had touched ground, there was still no land to be seen, only water, water everywhere. But the ark stopped moving back and forth now, and it became more and more quiet because there were no big waves hitting it and splashing. And that told Noah that the worst of the flood was over and the water must be going down now. And the waters did continue to go down until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, there were the tops of mountains could be seen. Oh, that must have been wonderful. And they must have had a huge shout, yay! It was such a welcome sight. Land, land, they must have cried with the joy of those who have been so long at sea. Now Noah opened the ark window and let out 2 birds. First he let out a raven, and that raven went flying back and forth, and it did not come back. And later God sent out a dove, and the dove went flying out, but pretty soon it came back. And that told Noah there weren't enough resting places yet for the dove. So a week later, he put it out again. And this time when the dove came back, in its beak was packing an olive leaf. Oh, they had to be so happy because not only was the water going down, there were trees with leaves. They didn't know if anything was going to be left after that terrible storm, you know. Noah waited another week. And then he sent out the dove one more time, but this time it did not return. And Noah felt sure that it must be because the land was free of water. So he removed the covering from the ark and looked. And behold, the face of the ground was dry. The rain had stopped, and the sun was breaking through the clouds. The flood was over. And the strangest voyage in history had come to an end in the strangest way you could imagine, with the ark resting on a mountaintop in Mount Asia Minor. That's a country. And this might have been what it looked like when they were looking out that window. So God's plan did work. And Noah and his family and all the animals on board survived. Isn't that wonderful? His plans do come true, and they are always for our good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what happens next with Noah and his family. So, this is Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. I love you, I really do. But more importantly, God loves you, and He always will. So, remember, keep dreaming, keep a story in your heart, and I'll be reading a regular story to you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.